What's up, everybody? Welcome to Discourse and Chill. I'm Ian.
And I'm your girl Reese. Today we want to talk about something that sparked from a conversation that I had a couple of weeks ago. A guy asked me, "What's my definition of love?" And I started running off all these different things, and he was like, "Yeah, but those are like acts. What love looks like. What is love defined as?" And most times when we think about love, we think about the action of love and not the actual definition of love. And to some, it might actually be one and the same. So today we're going to discuss what our definitions of love are and or what love looks like to us. So to start it off, I'm going to ask Ian straight out. Ian, what is your definition of love?
Oh man, so it's interesting that you asked this because I have been doing some writing and I just kind of like put together some thoughts on it. And I think love is the work, right? And so for me, I think there's a moment when you're like in a relationship or you have a friend, and it's the moment for me when you're willing to do the work that it takes to maintain that relationship, maintain that friendship, to elevate the relationship in any aspect. So I don't think it's necessarily, I think there's a feeling involved in that, but I think there's like a moment
Yeah.
that you recognize, whoever the person may be to you, that you're willing to do what it takes to make them feel good, to make them feel seen, to make them feel like you care. I think that is a moment
Mm-hmm.
love begins. And then it grows from there,
Okay.
right? It grows from
Okay.
that intention into like the actions you do to then sustain and protect that love. And I think
Okay.
all of those things have feelings attached to them, but I really think it's like that initial intention to like show up for a person in a moment that is not easy, or show up for the person when they ask that they need something particular from you. Um, to me,
Yeah.
that's what love is. It's like it's not your like a particular time or how long a relationship has been, or um, it's just that capacity to like take on more when someone
Mm-hmm.
asks you to take on more, or not even when someone asks you, but you just want to show up for that person in a way that's different than how you show up in other situations. So to me, that's what love is. Um, and
Yeah.
I know that's a little less feeling and more thinking, and that's how I operate. But I do recognize that there are feelings attached to those things. But for me, that's where it starts. Um, yeah. How about you? What are your thoughts on that? And like, what do you think about that idea?
I mean, I agree to some point of that. Definitely, love is for me is definitely a choice, a daily
Mhm.
choice. Sometimes we don't like people, but we love them. So like,
That's it.
you can love somebody that you don't like every day. So loving somebody for me is choosing, every day to pick love over like, pick the actual feeling versus the current activity or state that you're
Mhm.
in. Um, Love definitely shows up for people. Love will, come in without question and lend a helping hand, be of assistance, a shoulder to cry on. I feel like love in relationships is something that you want to innately do, regardless. Like you love this person, good, bad, or indifferent.
Mhm.
You rock with them. You're gonna be with them. You're gonna stand beside. Look, he mine. I'm gonna stick beside him. So I think for me, I agree. Love is definitely a service, and a feeling.
Mhm.
Love is both noun and verb.
Mhm.
So I think when people say like, what is the definition of love? I would definitely say it's probably, a feeling you have towards somebody that is, emotional, sexual, romantic feeling in the noun state, but in the verb state, it's definitely work and choices and dedication
Mhm.
to one particular person.
Yeah. I can see that. I don't know about the. I don't know. I think there there can be love without sexual. Like I think there can't be love without intimacy. And when I mean intimacy, like emotional intimacy or physical intimacy or spiritual intimacy, I think there are different types that you can experience with another person.
I
And
agree.
I agree. Like love is work, and I think that's the part of love that we don't hear about enough. Like we hear about the
Hmm.
fairy tale, the falling, the
Hmm.
infatuation, the
Yeah.
like that beginning phase of things where everything is great. I think love is when you're at rock
Mhm.
bottom and you look at the person that you're with, whether it be a partner or a friend, and you're like, look, we walking out of this together. You know what I mean? By any means necessary.
Yeah.
It's for me, it's that moment
Yeah.
because like I can have good times with anybody. You know, like I think I can
Hmm.
experience the euphoria of experiencing something new, exploring things, traveling, like all of those things. I think I can have fun with anybody, but
Hmm.
it's for me, it's like I want to be able to like be on my last leg and know that I won't be left alone in that moment and that the person I'm with is going to
Yeah.
choose us, not me, but like choose us to
Yeah.
move forward together, you
Right.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also think, in that, because, I did say sexual, but I don't mean like, oh, because I'm having sex, I love somebody. Like, I think,
Yeah.
within love and the romantic side of love, the intimate side of love, there is sex within that, is where I was coming
Mm-hmm.
from. Not just,
Okay.
I done met somebody and my hormones are going and then I have sex, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's not love, that's lust. So, like, I want to make sure I differentiate between the two because I know better. um, but definitely, making the choice when somebody is down,
Mm-hmm.
to stick there, but also being your own separate entity within a relationship. I'm on my path, you're on your path, and love has joined us together, but we still, are on our separate paths together.
Mm-hmm.
I love you enough to allow you to be who you are. You love me enough to allow me to be who I am and walk my journey. But we just want our journeys to be side by side as we walk together because we've bonded in that state of love,
Mm-hmm.
whatever that looks like to you.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like love definitely allows you to grow and to be and to explore who you are while doing that simultaneously with somebody else who is also growing and allowed to be and exploring who they are.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I think I have a poem. Well, I know that I have a poem. And one of the lines in the poem has stuck with me ever since I wrote it. I think it's one of the best lines I've ever written in my entire life. It says, acceptance is the key to everyone's heart. And I think that
Mm-hmm.
line is so serious because that's what love is. It's accepting the
Mm-hmm.
person that you're in a partnership, in a relationship, in a friendship with for exactly who they are.
Mm-hmm.
You're not trying to change them.
Yeah.
Like you would be okay if they didn't change. Like obviously we all have some like desire to grow. Well, I'm not gonna say all. A lot of us have desires to grow, and you want a
Mm-hmm.
partner who has that desire as well. And there are a lot of
Yeah.
things that may prevent that. There are a lot of things that may come as obstacles in that moment. But I think accepting a person right where they are when they are, and loving anyway and putting in work anyway and just being hopeful for
Mm-hmm.
growth and that you can grow together. I think that is also another form that love is expressed. Um, and I just think that it's powerful. Like I think I have known people to experience love from a place of, or not love, but a relationship that exists within the wanting of the other person to evolve, change, be different,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
pushing in a direction that like you said, we're both on these paths and we're walking together, and you're like, well, I want to go this way, and I'm like, well, my path is not taking me this way, and I would like to have support on my
Mm-hmm.
path, and I'll support you on your path, and I'm hoping that we can like
Yeah.
maintain this together. And sometimes it's not
Yeah.
possible, right? Like sometimes a person doesn't have enough acceptance of you to allow you to go on your path and allow or
Right.
be a support for you on that path, Um,
Right.
so I think that is super important to accept somebody where they are and be able to like move forward together.
Yeah, I also think a part of being able to love someone is knowing who you are and
Mm.
knowing how you love and need to be loved. Sometimes we aren't compatible with people, and
Mhm.
we as women, I know, fall in love with the potential of the person who may not have elevated to the level of self awareness,
Mhm.
or who may literally be where they are, have grown to their highest state
Mhm.
and aren't truly compatible. Like we tend to at times um see people for who we think they can be versus for who they actually are.
Mhm.
So we have to make sure that we are aware of ourselves, and the person that we are connecting with is aware of themselves as well. Because again, if there is some difference, if like I'm on like a higher frequency and your cap is down here and I'm trying to bring you up, but you feel like you've already mastered, like I know who I am, this is where I am,
Yeah. Mhm.
you're good with where you are. Sometimes love can be disguised as a potential, and it's really not. So I definitely think self-awareness in that
Mhm.
is huge when it comes down to loving someone and or choosing to love someone who may be on a lower frequency. Love
Mhm.
is elevation, the willingness to elevate and be elevated.
Mhm.
um it's all choice, I think, when it comes down to love. And it also has to have some compatibility as
Mhm.
well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think compatibility shows up in so many different ways, like physical, relational, like
Mhm,
all kinds of different, like
mhm,
spiritual, all kinds of ways that compatibility shows up. But I
mhm,
also believe that love is absolutely a choice. Love is something you choose every day. Love is something that you have to
mhm,
put work in every day. It's like growing a plant, right? Like it's really starting from a seed and fostering it, watering it, giving it sun, like giving it nutrients and minerals and an environment that it can exist in. And then also
mhm,
it is when some of those things, it can't get the right sun or it can't get the right nutrients or there's no water available, it's being able to
mhm,
protect the seedling, the plant in those
mhm,
times of like hardship, by sacrificing maybe a piece of yourself, and not in the way that you lose
mhm,
yourself, but just in a way that you are like choosing to grow something before you were choosing yourself. Well, not before, but along with choosing yourself, I should say. Because I don't think you should ever not choose yourself, but you should just choose yourself in a way
yeah.
that allows you to show up for the relationship, the friendship, the partnership, whatever y'all want to call it. But yeah, I think that it's, I don't know, love is a beautiful thing. And I think that we have all
Mhm.
been uh, brainwashed to believe that it's something completely different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that you said that the watering the plant analogy, because it provides both being like a provider with the
Mm-hmm.
nutrients and the water that's needed, and then protecting. Like,
Mm-hmm.
most people think of love as like to provide and to protect. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
I love you because I provide for you and I protect you. That's
Mm-hmm.
love, you know? But there are other layers to that that can be a form of love, or how you express how you love someone. But definitely the whole protection and the providing part is huge in people's definition of love.
Mm-hmm.
um Love is safe space. Love is the ability to land after a hard day.
Mm-hmm.
I want to make sure that like my person knows that you're safe here,
Mm-hmm.
emotionally, physically, spiritually. You are safe here. So definitely love does provide, protect, and allow for safety.
Mm-hmm.
So there's so many facets to love and what love looks like to different people.
Mm-hmm.
um in that, do you know how you express love and how you receive love? Like, what ways do you want to express love and or receive it?
I think I express love. Like I give love by, if we use like love languages, like acts of
Yeah,
service.
we can.
Yeah, yeah. So like acts of
Mhm,
service, I think is my number one. I thought for a long time it was like physical touch and quality time, but I really think how I
mhm,
show up in love is like I do all the little things. Like I want to do things
mhm,
that you're not really thinking of, so I can get them off of your plate. You know what I mean? Like if that looks
mhm,
like laundry and dishes, it may look like laundry and dishes. If it's putting gas in
mhm.
your car when I have an opportunity, it's doing that. And so it doesn't always
Yeah.
look like the the Instagram, social media, pretty, like beautiful, uh, romanticized kind of love, but it shows up in a way that like
Yeah.
I'm trying to make your day easier, and I'm trying to make you feel better about what you have to do in that day. Uh, definitely
Yeah.
quality time is important for me as well because like I love to have conversations, um, and so
Hmm.
those are ways that you connect and that you build and that you kind of investigate each other and you look into each other and you like are building that relationship brick by brick. Even having like hard conversations or navigating vulnerable spaces, like I think those are things that are really important to me because it then builds
Hmm.
like trust as well. Um, so yeah,
Okay.
how do you express loved?
Um, I think my love expression is gift giving. If we're going through the languages, it's definitely gift
Mm-hmm.
giving. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I am like the the gift giver. I feel like I always, go above and beyond for the people that
Mm-hmm.
I love. If there's something that I know somebody wants, or something that means something to them,
Mm-hmm.
or something that I definitely know that they're going to enjoy doing,
Mm-hmm.
I'm all in.
Yeah.
Like, listen, I will gift you just about anything. Within my means. Look, within my means,
Within
I'm
your
not
means.
going broke.
That part's important.
I'm not taking out loans for folks. However, I definitely, I think I'm really good at gift giving. I'm very thoughtful because I listen to people as they talk.
Mm-hmm.
And as people communicate, they tell you what they like.
Mm-hmm.
They tell you what they want to do and things that they're interested in. So I think I express love the best through gift giving because I am a great listener.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely expressing through gifts is my major form of showing that I love you.
Mm-hmm.
Which is really weird because that's not how I receive
Yeah.
love.
Yeah.
It's really, some people say the way you speak love is how you receive love, but for me, I'm completely opposite. Like,
Yeah.
don't buy me nothing because, okay, I'm not impressed.
Hmm.
And I think that part kind of gets people like confused, and don't get me wrong, like I love a good gift, some flowers here, some surprise, things are definitely welcome,
Hmm.
but I need to hear you. I need to touch you. We need to be like in shared spaces.
Hmm.
For me, I am definitely a words girl and a physical touch girl.
Hmm.
So like, yeah, I like to talk. Let's converse. Let's have conversation. Let's have meaningful conversations. Let's have playful conversations. I just want to be able to hear you, and I want to be able to touch you.
Hmm.
As far as like receiving love, quality time is big for me.
Hmm.
You took the time to give me your time. Okay, that's love.
Hmm.
Especially in the world that's so busy now. Everybody has 1,000 things to do.
Absolutely.
But when you stop out of a million things to do, even something as simple as a quick text message to say hi, thinking about
Hmm.
you. It don't have to be the group good morning queen. Like, don't add me to the group message. But a simple, thinking about you. Today is really busy, but I just wanted to say hi.
Hmm.
Something like that means a lot to people who are, words and quality time
Hmm.
people.
Absolutely. I think I receive through quality time and physical touch more than anything. Um,
Hmm.
and I think words of affirmation would be last. Excuse me, acts of service would actually be last because like I like to be
Hmm.
the one to do that, and I don't necessarily. I'm similar to you. Like I don't necessarily receive love through acts of service. Like
Right.
yeah, like it's just that's not what does it for me. I think the quality time, being able to like I said, have those
Hmm.
conversations. Um,
Hmm.
and be around you is really important. I tell people like
Yeah.
I want your presence to be better than my solitude, right? Like because I love being
Hmm.
with myself and I love like just
Right.
spending time alone and like diving into a creative project. But I want somebody where like we can have no plans and we don't have to say anything, but I want you close to me anyway. Like we
Right.
could just be on the
Yeah.
couch, like you could be reading a book, I could be reading a book, the TV on, music playing in the background, and we don't have to say a word, but our feet are touching on the couch
Yeah.
and I'm happy about it. You know what I mean? Like that's the kind of stuff
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
that I thrive in and I like feel closer to people in those spaces. Like and it's interesting, like when dating, I think those are the times when I know like whether or not something can progress, right? Like if I'm in a situation where I'm alone with somebody and I'm trying to fill the space or they're trying to fill the space with like conversation or things to do and we can't just like sit and enjoy each other's like presence, then I'm like,
Hmm.
this probably not it, you know? Like it's probably
Yeah.
not for me, you
Yeah.
know? And I think that's
Right.
important.
I I remember a time, story time. I remember a time when I was in something new,
Mm-hmm.
and I had gone to this guy's house and he had to jump in the shower. So I was like, all right, so, laying across the bed watching TV. He had a book on the dresser. So I was like, oh, this book is very interesting. I went and bought the book because it's really a book that I really love.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just like flipping through the book, and he comes out and he just like stops and stares. And I'm like, what's going on? He was like, I've never seen anything sexier than somebody laying across my bed reading a book. And I was like, okay. Yeah, okay. Because I be reading and stuff. But just just in that moment, he was getting ready for work, and like it literally, like I popped in, quick, just a quick, hey, before I leave town, come in and stop by.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I think at the time I had moved to Virginia, and I was home visiting, and yeah, just kind of met on the fly on a time that I was visiting home, and I was
Mm-hmm.
like, well, let me just stop by, stay by on my way out, and yeah, it was just the ideal of him being excited that I'm just here doing something that I love, reading a book, yeah, I was like, okay, he might be it. I mean, he won't, but okay, he might be it. He might be
I will
it.
say though, there's nothing sexier than like learning stuff together. You know what I mean? Like for me,
Oh my
like
God.
that's beyond. That is next
Listen,
level. Like that is it's a
yes.
beautiful thing. Like I was previously in a
Hmm.
relationship with a woman and we like read the same books. Like and it
Hmm.
started off so innocently, right? Like I was reading a book or just finishing a book and I was telling her about it and she went and bought the book and started reading it
Hmm.
and started like having conversations with me about the book, and I was like, "Oh, you read this?" She was like, "No, I went out and bought it, and I'm reading it now." I'm like, "Oh, damn!"
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
really?
I
Like, I don't know what to
mean,
do with myself. Like, yes, let's talk about this.
right.
Yeah, like let's. And then
Yeah.
that turned into like, "Hey, what are we gonna read next?" Uh, and like
Hmm.
little things like that are so like just intimate to me. Like even if it's not about feelings
Hmm.
or it's just informational, like being able to have those conversations, being able to connect on levels of like growth and development, like that is it's one of the sexiest things that a person can do in my opinion is like learning together. It's just man, it's
Yeah.
elite.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I say all the time, like, if a man teaches me something, like his stock goes up. Like,
Yes.
just even in quick conversation,
Hmm.
listen, fellas, connect with my mind. And you can connect with other things, right? But it's definitely like it's a mental thing,
Yeah.
like some people like have to be mentally stimulated before you can stimulate anything else. And I'm one of those people, like I have to there has to be some kind of mental connection. Especially if I'm trying to look for something that's like long term. Like I
Hmm.
want to be able to have conversations with you. I want you to teach me something within conversations. I'm not saying like, every time we converse, you have to be a tutor,
Yeah.
but like just if we're out somewhere, like you show me something new, introduce me to something new, in conversations, you bring up something that I've never heard about or talked about before, and then you go in depth with that,
Hmm.
like to get me on, baby. Listen, I'll clap to you.
Yeah,
I'll clap to you.
absolutely. Like I am somebody who loves to learn. I read a lot. I like know a whole bunch of random facts. So even if it's like an
Hmm.
obscure fact that I already know, but they like say it to me, like
Hmm.
even in those moments, I'm just like, man, that's
Hmm.
like the fact that you know this is sexy. Like the fact that you even
Yeah.
I don't care how you found out about it. You know what I mean? Like I don't care what it is. It could be like the smallest thing. Like yeah, I would just mm, I'm just like yes, I will be yours. I will be yours until until.
Yeah, I think I'm definitely drawn to knowledge and experiences.
Hmm.
Like learn me something, as old folks say, learn me something new, or have me experience something I haven't experienced before. Like
Hmm.
those are very, very stock building options.
Hmm.
In a person is definitely like, because then I mean, how many times we're gonna go to a movie, or we're gonna go out to get something to eat, but
Hmm.
like let's do something different.
Yeah.
Somebody that is adventurous,
Hmm.
and wants to explore. Definitely check. High tick mark. High
Yeah,
tick marks.
yeah. It's interesting that you say that. It's because I believe I'm evolving in a way that is like I want to have the
Mm-hmm.
experiences, but I've been coming to
Mm-hmm.
this same narrative around like I want to have experiences later. I want to connect with you first, and like I really
Mm-hmm.
connect through like mental stimulation, conversation, and that being within your presence. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't necessarily want to like go out and have all these like new experiences together in the beginning because like I said, I feel like I guess my experience as well has been I've done that before and it hasn't necessarily
Mm-hmm.
led to a deeper connection, you know? And so I want to establish the connection, provide it some depth, and then do those experiences, you know? Because then like they'll mean a little more to me. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I just believe that I can have fun with anybody. You know, like I can go experience something new with anybody, and it doesn't necessarily make me more connected to you. Um,
Yeah.
Especially if we haven't tapped into different levels of conversations or vulnerability or like intellect. You know, like if we haven't gone to those spaces yet, then this experience is going to mean less to me. But if we've gone and explored some of those other spaces, then that experience is going to be like impactful and important. And like I'm going to know things about you. Like if you're scared of heights and we're doing something like I'm gonna then attach like supporting you on this thing because we're up high or whatever. You know, like I think those are the things that make experiences more impactful for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I see that. Um, I think as women though, like we crave experiences when
Hmm.
it comes down to things that we don't know. And if a guy can give us something that we never had as far as experiences go, it definitely again just raises his stock.
Hmm.
So we look at you differently, like, oh, he's different, or
Hmm.
he's done something different.
Yeah.
Not saying that that's going to make you the one, but it just definitely, gives us more of an insight of like, oh, okay, this is really dope. Like this guy here is, taking initiative and, is trying to ensure that I have the experience.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily like has to be the guy that brings up the experience. Like
Hmm.
if there's something I know I want to do and I meet someone, I say, hey, this is what I want to do and I'm trying to go. You want to go with me?
Hmm.
And if he's down to go to an experience that I invite him to, even that, shows um some initiative and raises, like, okay, he's down for, trying new things too,
Yeah.
so it doesn't have to always be like, initial first contact type
Hmm.
thing, but definitely just being open to exploring experiences with me and or initiating or curating experiences for me as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the perspective that I'm coming from, like in my experience, has been people who always want to go do a thing, but they're not willing to have that
Mm-hmm.
vulnerable conversation. So they want to fill the space with something so they can like
Mm-hmm.
maintain the like they don't want you to know about them too quickly or too like in depth, like early on.
Yeah.
And so they're like, "Oh, let's go do this. Let's go do this. Let's go do this. Let's go do this." I'm like, "I don't want to do all that. Like, let's talk because I didn't know who you are. Like, I can't be out here running
Yeah.
around and I don't like you for real, for real. You know what I mean? Like, we gotta establish some parameters and like I want to get to know you, like, because I don't want to waste
Yeah.
your time and I don't want you wasting my time. Like, I want us to be able to,
I get it.
yeah. And so going out like doing 9 million things, and at the end of those 9 million things, I don't know anything about you or if I like you or not. Like we just have some experiences under our belts. You know, like for me, like I think that part of like dating has passed, and like I understand like the importance of like really digging deeper and like being vulnerable and being able to like
Mm.
have those conversations so we can like okay before we like go off the deep end like let's really like trench through some shit and see like what it is and if we like it and like we're willing to accept the other person, you know? Because we can go to this
Yeah.
fucking water park and have an amazing time, but if I don't like you tomorrow, it don't matter, you know?
A mess. Can I hope you like the teddy bear I won you because that's all we got.
That's all you got. That's what you leaving here with. Take care.
A mess. A mess. But that's crazy though because like again not knowing people fully
Mm-hmm.
definitely kind of hinders how love comes in
Mm-hmm.
and or can allow you to love somebody like a piece of somebody, and then once you start learning who they really are, then you're like, wait a minute, like who did I fall in love with? I don't know this person.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I said it's important to first know yourself, be open with yourself and who you are,
Mm-hmm.
and okay with letting people see who you are, good, bad, or indifferent. Like
Mm-hmm.
if this is who I am, I want you to know the pieces of me.
Absolutely.
I want you to see my whole and my broken. I want you to know who I am, because then you can choose
Mm-hmm.
that if I'm someone that you want to continue your walk and journey on with together.
Yeah, absolutely. I want us to both go into the experience as a choice, right? We talked about love being a choice. I think building and
Yeah.
starting something is also that choice. And I think there have been
Mm-hmm.
instances in my past where things have been withheld, so I don't feel like I could have made the choice that I would have made if I would have known, you know?
Right.
And
Right.
I
Yeah.
think you said too that you should know yourself. You should also love yourself,
Mhm.
right? Like if you are out
Yes.
here trying to get in a relationship, you need to know who you are, know what you
Mm-hmm.
want, and love the hell out of yourself unconditionally. Like because
Yes.
you cannot move forward if those three things are not aligned, right? Like if you don't know
Yeah.
who you are or know what you want or love yourself, like you
Mm-hmm.
can't move forward. And just also communicating your expectations and wants up front. I just left a coffee shop and these two women were having this conversation that I was like I would hear pieces of. And it was like so adult. I loved it. Like they were talking about how
Mm-hmm.
um, one of the women said that when she starts a relationship, she asks questions like, "Hey, when you get upset, like, how would you like me to like support you in those moments?" And like, if I get
Mm-hmm.
upset, can I tell you or share with you like how I want you to support me in those moments? And like, those are conversations like I be trying to have, and asking those questions.
Mm-hmm.
People like, I don't even know, like. Yeah, because like you don't know
Yeah.
you, but you want me to know you, or take your ass to
Right.
like take your ass somewhere and go out to eat. I don't want to go out to eat if you don't know. Like, if you mad, you don't even know how to feel better.
Right. Who I'm eating with? You don't even
Yeah,
know.
you don't even know.
Yeah. And I think knowing yourself and loving yourself is also being able to be confident in who you are.
Mm.
Um, recognizing what your insecurities are and
Mm-hmm.
then being okay with those in a healthy way.
Mm-hmm.
I had a conversation with someone recently about a guy who's kind of popular, and she's like, "Oh no, he can't be my man. He's too popular." And I was like, "But why not though? You want the guy that can come in and command the room.
Mm-hmm.
But if you love him and he truly loves you, and you all have conversed and are on the same page, and he trusts and loves you, it don't matter how many people he speaks to in that room. He's coming home to you. Nobody else can pull that from you, because again, you and him have connected and have this bond, have this love for each other. He's going to choose you every time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it depends. It definitely, your level of confidence in who you are and the love that you have for yourself also plays a big part within relationships, and people loving you in return.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I feel like,
How you love you is how somebody else will love you.
mm-hmm. And I feel that when you say that, I think of times where I have been that person, like hosting the Marquee Slam, like having a lot of attention on me, and like being in a relationship with somebody who didn't like any of it. Like was just
Mm-hmm.
always upset with
Mm-hmm.
like any attention that was shown towards my direction. And it wasn't because of
Yeah.
me. Like it wasn't because I didn't choose the person. It wasn't because I
Yeah.
didn't have to like
Yeah.
reassure the person over and over and over. Or like, yeah, it was just there was a lack of understanding of like the love she had for herself and the love I had for her,
Mhm.
they were on two different playing fields,
Yeah.
right? Like I loved her up here,
Yeah.
she loved her down here, and since they didn't
Mhm.
align, it was a problem, you know? And
Yeah.
sometimes
Yeah.
you can love somebody past their abilities to love themselves and they can't see it as love.
Mhm.
And that is something that
Right.
I've learned throughout my journey, that I've even been on the opposite end of that spectrum where early in my like 20s and 30s, like I didn't love myself the way I love
Mhm.
myself now. And so there's things
Mhm.
that I accepted from people that were less than, and also like I
Yeah.
was unable to recognize love that was given to me in ways that I had just never experienced it before, you know? So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
yeah, it's a journey, you know, like love is a journey that we're all
Mhm.
on together, that we're all trying to like navigate and really unlearn because we've also been
Mhm.
loved toxically, and that comes from like
Yeah.
previous relationships, friendships,
Mhm.
hell, our parents and family.
Yeah.
Like we've
Yeah.
learned the wrong ways that didn't work for us, but in our brain it's like, oh no, that's love because this is what it looks like, you know. Um,
Right.
and then it's like the unlearning and the relearning of something, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that, having to unlearn some areas of love. Um but you also don't realize that you're also choosing to love you every day as well. You
Mm-hmm.
know, we go through things as adults. We make choices, have made choices as adults. They're like, what was I thinking? Like, what was I doing? Like, um, you know, and you have to like choose to accept, yourself, good, bad, or indifferent. It's like, I love me, flaws and all.
Mm-hmm.
And just being able to get over those hurdles with loving yourself is also a daily
Mm-hmm.
choice.
Yeah. I think that love is powerful. It is
Hmm.
it is devastating. It hurts. It feels amazing. Like love is so many things, and I don't think there is a box big enough to really fit all the pieces that it encompasses, you know? And so to define love,
Yeah.
I think is unfair to love, honestly. You know? Like it's unfair
Mm.
to 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 put it in a box. And like even in this
Mm.
conversation, there's so many facets and levels and little things that we've experienced that just show how
Hmm.
immense and infinite love can be, you know? Like,
Yeah.
and we haven't even experienced how other people have experienced. You know, like I just have my experience, you just have your experience. But hell, Paul
Right.
down the street could have had a completely different experience than both of us. So I think
Yeah.
love is it's too immense and it's too complex and too big to like fit within a definition for complete understanding. Like your experiences
Yeah.
are valid,
Uh,
like your feelings are valid, and like how you
mhm.
have related with love is important for the addition of another experience to define it, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely agree with that. Love cannot be confined to a box. Love also gets the bad rap at times. Some people say, "Oh, I did this because I love you," or
Mm-hmm.
abusers, "I only hit you because I love you." Love, "I only hurt you because I love you." Like, love also gets the bad rap. We got to stop placing these negative definitions or negative actions on love. I only beat you
Mm-hmm.
because I love you. That's not love.
It's
The
not.
Bible said love doesn't hurt, but somebody that hurt you said they love you. So, what is it? So
Mm-hmm.
definitely we have to ensure that we define what love is for ourselves and the love that we want to accept for ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
But we need to stop saying that, I hit you because I love you, because that ain't love.
Yeah. Yeah. Like any kind of negative action that you choose to do and then call it love is not love. Like if
Yeah.
I stop talking to you and like I did this because I love you, no, you did not. You did it because you were selfish. Like you did it because you have
Yeah.
no self control. You did it like let's be honest. Let's call it what it is and stop like
Yeah.
adding love to it because like what you have for somebody that you're willing to hurt on purpose is not love, right? Like when you
Yeah.
choose yourself, when you cheat emotionally, physically, spiritually on someone, like
Mhm.
nothing you did
Mhm.
is love in that space, right? Like your apology is not love. Your apology is
Yeah.
self perseverance because like you got caught. You know, like you're trying to save
Yeah.
face in those moments more so than you're trying to preserve the love that you were sharing with somebody. You know, like love is not singular or one sided. It is shared. It
Mhm.
is something that like
Yeah.
me and Reese
Yeah.
share love. You know, like her and I
Mhm.
have been friends for a long time, and there is a level of trust. There's a level of
Mhm.
connection. There's a level of
Mhm.
like friendship intimacy that we have when we speak to each other,
Mhm.
and it is shared. And like, have
Yeah.
I in moments not taking care of the love that we have? Absolutely. And
Absolutely.
listen, chill out, chill out,
Absolutely.
chill out. Yeah, absolutely. I have. And I think part of it was like, one, not knowing how she expects love to show up, us having that conversation so I can change behavior, so I can make the choice to say, okay, like this is how love appears to Reese. I'm gonna give her that because that's what she asked for and she's important to me, you know? And another part of it is like my
Yeah.
own journey of like having a friend that just shows up differently for me, you know, like being able to
Yeah.
identify like and recognize the importance of this friendship and the capacity at which I'm able to love grows when you're like, no, I deserve this kind of friendship, you know, like, and so I
Mhm.
appreciate you for helping me grow in love, and
Yeah.
help my capacity and see things outside of my purview when I was a younger man, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I get that. Sometimes we love people past themselves, and I had to
Mm-hmm.
choose to love you as my friend past who you were. Because baby, look, I mean, it was a rocky road at one point,
Listen,
but then you had to like navigate that and figure that out.
mm-hmm.
Loyalty is really big to me, so I definitely stay loyal and like held on because I knew what the friendship was for me,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for
and
sure.
sometimes you have to give people a chance to catch up, you know and I didn't abandon what we had built because I knew that it was valuable to me,
Mm-hmm.
and I knew that it was valuable to you, but at the time you couldn't see past where you were.
Mm-hmm.
So love made me choose to hold on to you and this
Look,
friendship. Like,
and love made me choose to elevate my capacity, right? Like, and show up differently.
listen,
Like when the
yeah,
expectation was set, I was like, okay, I'm willing to meet this, and I took the steps to
yeah,
meet it. You know, like you're like, hey,
yeah.
I'm loving on level 100. Your ass is over there on 27. I need you to step your shit up, right?
This ain't it, right? This ain't it. You about to be. Listen,
Yep.
look. I
So,
hope it's worth it. I hope it's worth it. Oh
but
man.
yeah, and it takes that sometimes, and it takes the
Yeah.
willingness to see, and also
Mhm.
the self awareness to be able to recognize if other
Mhm.
people are able to meet you where you are. I think sometimes
Yeah.
people don't have the self awareness to see in others that this is
Hmm.
as high as they can go. This is the choice that they've made, and they don't want to
Yeah.
accept that this person doesn't have the capacity to love them in a way that is important. And like you were saying earlier, I think men
Yeah.
and women make this choice, but we hear more
Hmm.
about like women making the choice because men, you know,
Hmm.
as men, we're not told or we're told to like not share or be vulnerable in these spaces. Men, be vulnerable. It's
Hmm.
important. Like it's important for us.
Yeah.
It's important for us. For
Yeah.
nobody else. It's just important for
Yeah.
you to be able to be completely in touch and in tune with who you are, so you can receive and give
Mhm.
love in a way that is not toxic. That is like just beautiful, you know. Um, but yeah, like I think we all have been in a space where we want somebody to choose us so bad that
Mm.
we lose ourselves in how they make the choice or whether or not they make the choice, you know?
Mhm.
And it's important for us to see,
Yeah.
okay, I set the bar, I set the expectation.
Mhm.
I need to see that you can make it to this space so we can move forward. And if you can't, I need to choose me because I can't accept less
Yeah.
than the value of who I am or the worth of like who I believe I am, you know?
Yeah. Yeah,
No.
yeah. I think it's big that you said that, being able to see, or the willingness to elevate, when
Mm-hmm.
it's presented to you that, okay, this is what I lack and this is what this person needs from me. And the willingness to say, okay, I need to level up,
Mm-hmm.
because one thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna push you. Um
Facts.
Especially if I know there's growth there, I'm gonna push you. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you gonna grow. I tell people all the time, I can make you better,
Mm-hmm.
period. And that's not, trying to be cocky or anything, but I mean, somebody told me years ago, he was like, you have the Midas touch. Everything you touch flourishes because you have the Midas touch. I don't know what it is about you, but you have the Midas touch.
Mm-hmm.
But that's me, like genuinely wanting the best out of everybody and the
Mm-hmm.
best for everybody. So if I rock with you, like, I rock with you the long way, and it's gonna be some elevation.
Yeah.
So having the knowledge of self and the willingness to grow, listen, I can elevate you,
Yeah.
and that's not me being cocky.
Yeah.
It's what I've been told.
Just facts. Just laying
you
out
know,
facts. I think,
it's what I know.
and I think that's the power of our relationship too, is because we both have that power. You know what I mean? And I think in
Mhm.
those instances, emotionally, I needed to elevate. You know, I had skills or like ideas or other things that were like more logical and like more
Mhm.
thinking versions that like I
Yeah,
could give you, and you're like, look, if we do it like this, then I can give you strategy to help elevate us. And you're like, well, I'm
yeah,
all about elevating through the strategy, but I need you to feel something too, motherfucker. So this is what.
right. And like, strategically, you're on point, but you got to make sure that you know where everybody is, that they can keep
Yeah.
up, or you running folks over, and it's not helping them.
Exactly.
You got to look. Whoa, Nelly.
Exactly. Exactly. Because my ass would be, I'd be
So
cracking a whip, like trying to push people, realizing that I don't need to
like,
crack no whip. I
right?
need to
Like,
nourish, you
what are
know,
you
like.
doing? Yeah,
Yeah. So I think that
yeah.
that was, I don't know, like I think we had a awesome partnership and an awesome friendship, and how we
Mhm.
like played off each other in so many different ways, has
Yeah.
been incredibly beneficial to me. And like even this podcast, like I think we have like elevated how we connect with each other, how we talk to each other. Because y'all gotta understand, none of this is
Mhm.
scripted. We just be like talking to each other. We
Right.
like we
Right.
just
And
be
it's
talking.
so crazy because I have a whole thing of like notes of what my definition of love was. I didn't say none of this stuff. Like, I touched on it a little bit, but I was like, you know what? Let me just have a quick conversation.
Yeah.
I wrote down one thing you said about like the work part. Love is right. I was like, okay, I like that.
Mhm.
I wrote that down, but yeah, listen,
Yeah.
it's been, again, just genuine conversations
Mhm.
are great.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It's just, just having the ability to, and the desire to speak from the heart, and without any ulterior motives, or like, yeah, just to be genuine in conversation, and it,
Mhm.
it just flows,
Yeah.
and that's what it just flows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think it all comes from like the the arc of our relationship as friends, right? Like I think it comes from like
Mhm.
you understanding that now I will create a safe space for your vulnerability. Like, and I would say
Mhm.
that necessarily wasn't the case in the beginning of our friendship, you know? Like
It was
I
not.
I know
It was not at all.
now I
It
know
was
now
not.
that you will wholly make like space for like my perspective and like how I choose to
Mhm.
like demonstrate my emotions. Um
Yeah.
and I think those two things make this what it is. It creates the chemistry, it
Yeah.
creates the connection, it creates the ability to let things flow, and like there's no fear of judgment, there's no fear of, well, nah, you'll judge me, but I won't judge you.
Listen. I don't judge that much. It's not judgment. It's just showing you a different perspective. That's the right one. Because you need me.
y'all,
You need
y'all
me.
hear that, right? She called me wrong all the time without saying that I was wrong.
I mean, if that's your interpretation, you're right. If that's your interpretation, you're right. See, you're right in this moment. In this moment, you're right. Look at me, allowing you to be right. But you know what, Ian, I want to thank you for being open to allow me to help elevate you.
Yeah.
A lot of times men are so like caught and stuck in their ways. Like, to have a woman tell you that you're not right, or a woman tell you like you need to do it this way, or you need to start looking at it from this angle. A lot of men aren't open to that. So thank you for being open to allowing, my touch to have that Midas effect. I just think that definitely had you have been resistant to who I am and my genuine desire to make you better, this friendship would have ended a long time ago,
Yeah.
because there was some rocky times,
Mhm.
in the beginning. Because you definitely were like stuck. Like, bro, what is wrong with you?
I'm not emotional. Like
you know?
I tell people that y'all heard this before. Like, I'm a thinker. Like, my brain is the thing that is
Yeah.
the primary driver of my existence, and my heart is secondary.
Mhm.
And like, I have done a lot of work on myself to like include my heart in the conversation with my brain.
Mhm.
And I think it has a lot to do with like who I am inherently, my upbringing, and
Yeah.
society. I think all of those
Yeah.
things are accurate and true. I think I've definitely uh, have made the most progress with like my upbringing in society, but they're still like inherently who I am as a thinker first.
Right.
And I remember we
Right.
used to have these conversations all the time. She'd be like, "What are you doing? Like,
Mhm.
why did I like?" This
Yeah.
is what I think. Like this, it's only coming from
Right.
here. Like
Okay.
I don't feel nothing.
Right. I know. I know. You don't have to say every thought that comes to your mind. You can just be quiet sometimes. Like, you out here doing
Yeah,
the most. Like, that's not the thing to say to people. Just stop. Just stop.
yeah, yeah.
A mess.
Like I had to learn how to deliver the truth. I had to learn how to not say the truth. I
Yeah.
had to learn how to care for other people's truths, even in
Mm-hmm.
instances like Reese
Mm-hmm.
was saying when their truth may be false. Like sometimes you got to care for that
Yeah.
truth so you can make progress that you need to, like the progress you need to make together. Now I ain't telling
Yeah.
you to like again. I ain't telling you to go out there and just validate everybody's falsehood. But there's some instances where it's small enough that it doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. And I think for a long
Right.
time, I took every instance to correct and every instance to align, like too
Mm-hmm.
seriously. And I needed to like allow
Mm-hmm.
people to express, to feel, and to find their
Mm-hmm.
way with not always having to like bring them back in the space that they needed to be in. And absolutely, Reese helped me with
Yeah.
that. Absolutely, I will always give her credit. And like it, it's not something that started with Reese. It started way before Reese, but I didn't. I didn't have the same amount of respect for the people who were asking me to
Mm-hmm.
elevate that I had for Reese, right? Like, and
Mm-hmm.
so when it's coming
Mm-hmm.
from somebody that you truly like appreciate, respect, and care for, it lands differently.
Mm-hmm.
And so that I would say like that's
Yeah.
one of the biggest reasons why I like was dedicated to that growth journey is because like it just
Mm-hmm.
landed differently because the admiration and respect that I had for you as a person and as a black woman,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it's simple. And I think that is
Yeah.
shared like in both directions, and I think that's why
Yeah.
we were able to like grow this friendship to what it is today.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I would definitely say that it people may not have had the patience that was needed in order to help you. You know what I'm saying? They may have said some things like here and there and then got the resistance and was like, you know what, forget it, whatever. He
Mm-hmm.
don't care, so he ain't gonna change. But I was like, oh no, he gonna change. Because what you mean? You can't be walking around like this. Like, you know what I'm saying? The caliber of man that you are, as successful as you are, how you carry yourself,
Mhm.
did not align with how you behave. And I was like, there's no way. There's no way I'm gonna let this man be so accomplished and so, you know what I'm saying, like so amazing for the world to not let the world experience amazing, you know?
Yeah.
So I was all right, let me put my gloves on. I got work to do. So who is this? What is wrong with him?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. It was rough out
all
there.
right, Reese. Time to
Yeah.
get to work.
Mhm. Absolutely. And I think it's, I don't know, it's something where, like you said, like I was successful in like how I was approaching the world, and it
Yeah,
it wasn't conducive to a lot of relationship building, and it wasn't
yeah.
conducive to a
It
lot
was
of
not.
like influence, but it was conducive to like
Yeah,
me accomplishing like my goals, and whether I had to do
yeah.
that alone, I was fine with, and I think like
Mm,
wanting to accomplish something with Reese, like whether that be the slam team, the event that we did, Southern Fried,
mm,
our field day, like all those things took a a relational aspect that developed
mm.
over these last 10 years,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I think in those spaces where I helped is like the strategy around all those things, like being able to
Mm,
like say, hey, we're going to do X, Y, and Z, and Reese also being receptive to that. So I think when we started becoming receptive to each other's style of like teaching and growing, like
yeah,
it just,
yeah.
we started going like, instead of going like this, we started going like
Boom.
this
Yep,
together,
yep, yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
yeah, it's just
It was
like, meet me here,
a
meet
definite
me here.
rise. Right.
Yeah.
It was a definite rise. Because
Mhm.
you've always been a big thinker. Like Ian comes
Mhm.
through and like if he wants to do something, it is like big, you know? And I'm
Mhm.
like, okay, well, as the person that's gonna ride for him, like I need to make sure that as big as he wants it, I can help him execute it, you know?
Mhm.
And that's what we did.
Yeah,
So
that's what we
yeah.
did. Yeah,
Even on things that I didn't want to do.
facts.
We don't talk about that.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you like this. One of
We
like
should
the
have listened to me.
strategy. Listen, the strategy around getting Reese to do something she don't want to do take years. Like you got to be in it for the long haul. Like when you make a decision, you like we gonna do this. I'm gonna tell you, it took 2 years to convince Reese that we could do Southern Fried.
It did.
Literally two
It
years.
did. It did. Because every time I
So
was like, hell no, hell no, we're not doing that. Hell no. What? Boy, you crazy.
yeah.
Okay, whatever.
But that's how I contributed to her growth, is because by the end of those 2 years, she was like, you know what? We could do this shit. And it'd be the
I
best
mean,
one
and we
ever.
could. I mean, I knew that we could always do it.
Mhm.
I just didn't want to do it, you know? And because I can't say that I support him in things that he want to do, and this is something that he want to do and not support him in it, you know? But at the end of the day, I was right when I said that we shouldn't have done it. Like,
Nah, I'm glad we did it because of how it turned out. Like the experience, like wasn't great. The execution was amazing, and I also appreciated like what it brought out in other people for us to identify like them as well. You know what I mean? So like I think,
I agree with that part.
yeah,
I learned a lot.
yeah,
I
I
learned a
think
lot.
we learned a
I'll agree
lot, and
with
it's
that
like,
part.
all right, like we know where we stand,
Oh,
and we also
yeah,
know like how we're gonna proceed, and it's like not in support of certain people, and so we were able to
yeah,
like move forward in a way that I think was the best for us. That without that experience, I don't know
yeah.
that we would have known fully.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I agree with that. It still hurt though. I ain't even gonna
yeah,
pretend
for
like
sure. Yeah,
it was.
yeah.
It definitely did not feel good.
Mm-hmm.
Going through the process
Yeah.
of that at all.
Yeah,
So
at all, at
yeah,
all. I will
you know,
second that. But you know what we always got though? We always got that accomplishment. We
each
always
other.
got like, yeah, we always got
Oh,
each
we always
other.
got each other.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah,
But I just feel like,
yeah. But that was
despite all
the
those
accomplishment.
obstacles, yeah, despite all the obstacles and things that were put in our way, like we still executed
Yeah,
like damn near flawlessly. And I
yeah,
think that alone lets me know that like Reese, like before that, but definitely that, like I know
Mm-hmm.
Reese got me and Reese know I got her. You know what I mean? Like I think
Mm-hmm.
that experience was like, we got each other here. We gonna show these fools that we ain't nothing to play with
Yeah.
at all.
I
At
think it was great.
all.
It was great for our city. Yeah, it was great for our
Absolutely.
city. To
Absolutely.
see what they had been supporting for so long. So that part, I
hmm
definitely don't regret that. The city was able to see
Yeah.
what they had been supporting. And
Yeah.
it definitely, the platform for local artists here, to be seen and heard. So that I don't regret that part of it as
Yeah.
all. I mean, at
At
all.
all.
Um,
At all.
yeah, it's the behind the scenes stuff that I
hmm
could have done without. I say all the time I stepped on the wrong side of it, but you live and you learn, and sometimes you have to be open to things. You have to, things have to be shown to you, to show you what is love and what is not love.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
yeah.
I think that's a perfect place for us to end this conversation. Like, I think we've established that love is immense, it is infinite. The
Mm-hmm.
definition is completely up to you. Uh, love
Mm-hmm.
is expressing that expectation. It is a choice that you make.
Mm-hmm.
It is what you make it, right? Like
Yeah.
it is what you make it. Um, yeah,
Yeah.
that's all I got, Reese.
Love is also giving people. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I said that's all I got. What you got?
I was gonna say love is also giving people the space and grace to figure out what love is for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely multifaceted in so many different ways. And the definition is definitely infinite because my definition and somebody else's definition may not be the same, but are both equally correct for who we are.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, you want to close this out?
Yeah. You already know, as always, I'm telling everybody be gentle with yourselves. We are living in some crazy times right now. There's a lot going on, especially here in my city. It's been a lot of bad news and negativity going on. So I want to tell everybody be gentle with yourselves, allow space and grace for yourselves. You are only responsible for today. All other days will take care of themselves as they come. Make it through today. That's all you're responsible for. Take it day by day. I love you and I am here for you. I'm definitely holding space for everybody who needs it. If you feel like you're at the end of the rope, things are not going your way. You may not know me personally, but trust me when I say my inbox is open. You can email us discourseandchillpod@gmail.com, and we'll definitely listen. You don't have to go through life alone, especially when it's getting hard. You are only responsible for today. Don't worry about what's coming tomorrow or next week. Let's focus on getting you through today. I love you, chillers. You all are the best, and I want the best for you.
Thank you for that, Reese. I love you, chillers. I love y'all, and we will see y'all next time. Peace out.
Yes.